It was a humid evening in late September 1995 in the small town of Canavanes, Puerto Rico. The air was thick with the scent of rain-soaked earth, and the distant hum of crickets echoed through the swaying trees. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in a deep orange glow, the town settled into its usual nighttime rhythm. But that night, a sense of unease lingered in the air. An almost tangible fear that something was watching from the shadows. Madeline Tolentino stood on her porch, her gaze fixed on the darkening sky. She had heard the rumors, just like everyone else in Canavanes. Tales of a strange creature, a bloodthirsty beast that had been preying on the livestock of local farmers, leaving behind only the lifeless, drained bodies of goats and chickens. Some said it was a wild animal. Others whispered that it was something far more sinister. But Madeline had never been one to believe in legends, until she saw it for herself. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared, Madeline's attention was drawn to a movement at the edge of her yard. At first, she thought it was just the wind rustling the bushes, but then she saw it. A pair of glowing red eyes peering out from the darkness. Her breath caught in her throat as the creature slowly emerged from the shadows. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Standing on two legs, it was about 4 feet tall, with a hunched back covered in spines that glinted faintly in the dim light. Its skin was a sickly gray-green, stretched taut over its thin, sinewy frame. The creature's eyes, large and glowing, locked onto hers, sending a jolt of primal fear through her body. She couldn't move, couldn't scream. She could only stare in silent terror as the creature took a step closer. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the creature vanished back into the shadows, leaving Madeline standing alone on her porch, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew in that moment that the stories were true, that the Chupacabra was real, and it was hunting in Canavanes. Across town, in a small farmhouse, a farmer named Jorge Alvarez was jolted awake by the sounds of his animals in distress. The terrified bleating of his goats cut through the silence of the night, and he quickly grabbed his flashlight and ran outside. As he approached the pen, the beam of his flashlight caught the glimpse of something hunched over one of his goats. Jorge froze. The creature was just as the stories described. A grotesque, dog-like beast with mangy bluish-gray skin and sharp fangs that glistened with fresh blood. The creature looked up, its glowing red eyes meeting Jorge's gaze, and let out a low, menacing growl. Jorge's heart raced as he tried to process what he was seeing. It wasn't just some wild dog. It was something far worse. Before he could react, the creature darted into the darkness, leaving behind the lifeless body of his goat. Jorge approached the animal with trepidation, his flashlight trembling in his hand. The goat's body was cold, its eyes wide open in terror, and its throat bore 2 small puncture wounds. Just as the rumors had said, its blood had been completely drained. News of the Chupacabra's attack spread like wildfire through Canavanes, and the once quiet town was soon gripped by fear. Farmers took to guarding their livestock at night, weapons in hand, while children were kept indoors after dark. The creature, it seemed, was always one step ahead, striking into the dead of night, leaving behind nothing but the drained bodies of its victims. But the Chupacabra wasn't confined to Puerto Rico. As the years passed, reports of similar attacks began to surface in other parts of Latin America and even in the United States. In the small town of Cuero, Texas, Phyllis Canyon found herself facing the same nightmare. It started with the mysterious death of her chickens, each one found with a small punctured wound and drained of its blood. Then one day, she stumbled upon the creature herself. A bizarre, hairless beast lying dead on her property. Its skin was rough and blue-gray, its eyes sunken, and its mouth filled with sharp teeth brought by the smell of decay. Though some dismissed it as a mangy coyote, Phyllis knew better. This was no ordinary animal. It was the Chupacabra, the creature of nightmares that had once haunted the people of Canavenes and beyond. In the years that followed, the Chupacabra continued to elude capture, its legend growing with each new sighting. From the deserts of Mexico to the rural farms of South America, the creature remained a terrifying mystery, a shadowy predator that struck fear into the hearts of those who crossed its path. But for those who had seen it, those who had felt its gaze upon them, seen the aftermath of its attacks, the Chupacabra was all too real. It was the stuff of nightmares, a creature born from fear and darkness, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the next opportunity to strike. As the story spread and the sightings continued, one thing became clear. The Chupacabra was more than just a legend. It was a living, breathing terror, an enigma that refused to be explained, leaving a trail of fear and death in its wake. And for the people of Canavenes, Cuero, and countless other towns, the night would never be the same. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. To stay updated with future content, consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave me a comment below. Let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.